Hello and welcome to the House of Parker. This is my Chatty vlog. I think it's episode number 4. We're just going to say that. I have a special guest with me today. This is my daughter Ariel. Say hi.
Hi.
She's visiting. I'm from California, but my vlog for today, I'm going to be talking about anxiety. And so Ariel has actually been diagnosed with a anxiety disorder, and so I thought it'd be perfect to have her join along, and I'll ask her some questions, and we'll talk, and we'll just go back and forth. So I hope you enjoy this. And once again, I have notes, so I probably will be doing a lot of reading, just because so I don't, I always like to chase rabbits. You guys know that. So this keeps me focused and on track. And with Ariel with me, we're definitely going to be chasing rabbits. So this ought to be fun for all. Okay, so Ariel has been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. Actually, just anxiety, period, right?
Yeah, and depression and...
Anxiety started about what time?
3rd or 4th grade.
That's right around the time when she started to get bullied at school. And she just couldn't. Ariel's always been a very people pleaser. She's very compassionate, and all she wanted to do was just to have friends. And but she got picked on, and she didn't have any coping mechanisms, which is, part of having an anxiety disorder. But we'll talk more about that. See, I'm chasing rabbits again. All right. So today we're just going to talk about anxiety, and Ariel's we'll ask her questions, but she's going to share a little bit about her experience and something that just happened recently that I haven't shared with anybody, and so she's willing to put it out there because I think she can help a lot of people at this point in time. Okay, so there is a difference between normal everyday anxiety and having an anxiety disorder. So I want to go over the differences and a few helpful hints, and we'll just talk about that for now, and then we'll get into little Miss Ariel. So if you have an anxious friend and they decide to confide in you, it is important to respond in a way that offers support and doesn't minimize their experience. This is not your normal everyday anxiety. This is people who have an anxiety disorder. If you don't have an anxiety disorder, avoid offering advice without listening to your friend. You can edit that out. Show support by telling them that you're there for them, asking how you can help, and listening to what they have to say. That is very, very important. If you have not been diagnosed with anxiety, you have no clue what the person is experiencing, and it's kind of hard for the person who has anxiety to confide in people because they try to minimize it, or they try to, they try to help, and it's always comes out wrong. So what I have learned, because I also have anxiety and I have been diagnosed and I've worked with a therapist and a life coach, is that most people mean well. They really do. They really mean well. They don't try to hurt your feelings.
They don't mean to, but they say things that aren't meant to say how they are to you, and then an anxiety person takes it as, oh,
You're judging
me for that.
Right. And they don't want to say the wrong thing, but it can be hard for them to know what the right thing to say if they don't know much about anxiety. So I'm going to hopefully give you some helpful tips. Maybe this can help you if you have anxiety, or if you know somebody close to you. While everyone experiences anxiety, people experience differing degrees of severity of anxiety. Anxiety is normal and healthy. It's a part of life. It keeps us safe and motivates us. And by keeping us safe, it's that fight or flight experience, like, okay, I've got to survive. What am I going to do? That is absolutely normal anxiety. It only becomes a problem when someone becomes overly anxious and it interferes with daily life. There's things that you can control in your life. You can't control the weather, you can't control traffic, and when things like that, over time become an issue, they can't function normally. So, with that being said, don't say to the person, "I know what you mean. I had a panic attack when I saw the rent prices." It sounds innocent enough, and it sounds like you're trying to understand, but that's not that. It's completely different with the person actually having a panic attack or who has anxiety, because you're minimizing their feelings at the moment. Because everybody says, "Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have a panic attack if I don't get this done." We all kid around like that. But when your friend or your loved one or whoever is in the midst of that, it's taken negatively. And it doesn't help the situation at all. Instead, you can say to them, "I'm always here for you." That is very helpful. You can listen without judgment to what they have to say and what their experiences are like. Being there for someone, even when you can't relate, is a very powerful way of showing support. Just saying, I'm here for you. I think that means the world especially when you're very anxious and you're not functioning right, and somebody says, "Okay, I'm going to be right here for you."
It helps a lot.
You're going to let the person still be anxious, but you're going to be here with them to support them. You're not going to offer unsolicited advice, I guess, is what you don't want from you, that you don't want to hear.
Yeah.
So if somebody says, "Oh gosh, I'm going to have, I understand how you feel. I just had a panic attack over the price of, rent," or, that's kind of being a little condescending.
Yeah.
So that's not what you want to say. And my favorite is, have you ever tried meditation, yoga, or insert some other wellness trend here? You don't want to say that either to the person, because extreme anxiety can feel consuming, which means that small things like taking a few deep breaths might not be enough to counter the panic in the moment. So just telling them to breathe, relax, whatever, is not the best thing to do, because they're not going. I know my experience, it makes me more anxious when they're all like, "Calm down, calm down." It's like, okay, let me just turn off that switch.
Yeah, it's nice to know they're there, but at the same time, don't tell me to calm down, because then I can't. That's why I'm acting like I am. I cannot calm down.
Yeah.
That's one of the things you don't say to a person that has anxiety. Don't say calm down.
Don't say, "Have you tried meditation, yoga?"
We try everything.
Yeah, we have. We still do. Instead, say, "What can I do to help you?" Ask what they need, and then do it. Even if the request seems silly to you. Here's an example. This is not my example, but I've probably been in this situation where I wish I would have said this to my friend. A friend asked if we could just not talk at all until I calmed down. And for me, I'm thinking that would be the best thing for me to say to the person, is, "Can you just not talk to me right now until I calm down?" Because sometimes, you want to, offer the advice and you want to do this, and it just makes me want to go, "Ah!" So it makes you want to explode.
Mm-hmm.
And please, for the millionth time, don't ask, "Are you okay?"
No.
Because we're not okay. Is that helpful for you to say?
No.
Say okay?
I get where they're coming from. They're trying to ask you, are you gonna be okay? Are you okay? No, I'm not. In this moment right now,
Yeah.
I am not okay.
So instead of saying, "Are you okay?" because obviously she's not okay, let's go to a quieter place for a walk. Let's just walk. Let's just be quiet. Let's just sit here. Just say, "I'm right here. I'm going to be right next to you. I'm not moving." And just let them have their moment is the best thing that you could possibly do. So if you want to try to help your friend get out of anxiety mode, and you'll know them well, because you can see the signs, you'll know when things are escalating quickly. You can try grounding them back in reality. Anxiety makes people hyper-focused on thoughts and emotions and physical sensations that are causing the distress. So we're like in hyper mode when we're in a panic attack. It's just everything is just, it's urgent, everything.
And it could be caused by just one thing,
Yeah, one thing.
not just multiple things. It could be caused by one thing.
And an example for me, I could go out to dinner and just be having the best of time, and all of a sudden I will have a panic attack it just comes. I haven't had a panic attack in probably about 2 or 3 years, which is great. But I have coping mechanisms and things that I refer to do that. So to get your friend's mind off of these things, ask if they want to take a walk, listen to some music, or go to somewhere where it's quiet. Sometimes people get hyperstimulated, and if they're already anxious in the crowd of people, just, it's going to go into hyper mode. And if you can just ask them, hey, let's go over here in this quiet area, and we'll just walk over here until you're ready. We'll just walk. And then I think that's very helpful. I think going for a walk can help because you're not focused on what's making you anxious. You're walking away from the situation. So that's probably a really good thing to say to them. And don't say, why aren't you seeing a therapist or on medication? Because you know what? We probably are seeing a therapist and we are taking medication. There's nothing wrong with showing concern for a friend, but be careful it doesn't come across as judgmental. Suggesting your friend should be doing something can create a sense of shame if they aren't, or you make them feel like they're being judged. If you do need to see a counselor or take medication, those are decisions that they need to make on their own and at their own pace. You can't force somebody to go to therapy, and you can't force somebody to take medication. But more than likely, they are already seeing a therapist and they are taking medication. It doesn't just cure anxiety; it makes you be able to cope better when it happens.
So you feel normal.
Yeah, whatever that is.
I don't even
Whatever
know.
normal is.
No, I don't even know.
Okay, so instead of saying, why are you seeing a therapist or on medication, you should ask them, say, I've noticed you've been anxious a lot lately, and I'm concerned. Okay, that's fair, that's neutral, I think, don't you think?
Yeah.
Say, why, is something, are you okay? No, don't say you're okay, but, I'm concerned.
Yeah.
If someone confides in you that they're feeling anxious or having a panic attack, the most important thing to remember is that the feelings and telling you about them are a big deal. It takes trust to show that kind of vulnerability. Listen and respond in a way that doesn't minimize their experience. You have somebody, right, that you can confide in.
Yeah.
That understands.
I have multiple people.
That can bring her down, calm her down a tad. It's important to have somebody that can do that. They don't have to have a PhD in therapy. They just need to be willing to listen and show love and compassion.
Yeah.
Because that's...
And I have a lot of people that do that. Kevin's the main one, my boyfriend. First he didn't know anything about anxiety. So when he saw me being anxious, he didn't know what to do. He would do the whole, are you okay?
Calm down.
And then I had to explain to him, no, you can't say those things, but he didn't understand why. Now he notices and he just comes towards me and he knows how to calm me down.
Yeah. So just reach out and hug them. I mean,
Pretty much.
you don't even have to talk.
A simple hug will just immediately calm you down.
Yeah. If you don't even know, if you don't have the words, just hug or just sit there and just grab their hand.
Yeah.
Or just sit there, do that. Just
helps.
that they know that you're there for them.
Yeah.
So trying to say the following to help a friend whose anxiety is climbing is, what can I do to help you right now? Right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. What do you want me to do to help you right now? Would it help if I just sat here with you? That's a good question to ask. This is perfect. I love you and I'm always here for you no matter what's going on. That's important. Very important. Do you need me to come over? If they call you up or they text you, do you need me to come over? They will let you know. Sometimes just hearing your voice, I think sometimes, or a text message.
Yeah.
because that's what we do now, we text. And then are you looking, this is also very important. I wish a few people in my life, most of our family understands. This is probably people that are outside the family that kind of would have an issue. But this would be a very good question to ask. This is, are you looking for advice, or would you rather I just listen? Don't offer advice first. Ask.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we just need somebody to listen to us.
Just vent.
You know.
Even if
just
it's nonsense.
Yeah, even if it doesn't make sense. And even like I said before, the even smallest, silliest request.
Even if I'm having an anxiety because I don't know if I unlock the door or lock the door.
Yeah. Go check and make sure the door's locked.
Yeah.
It's, you know, reassure them. Take them with you. I mean,
take a picture, show it to me. Like.
So, well, I'll get into more about Ariel, because we're going to talk about what happens when you don't have the proper coping mechanisms, and stress is just a constant thing in your life, and anxiety, and self-care is very important. I want to stress self-care in part of being anxious. It sounds ridiculous, but sometimes taking a shower matters. It's like, okay, finally, I get in the shower, calm me down, I'm okay. So unless a friend has specifically mentioned that these phrases help them, so if your friend says, this is what I need you to say to me, then you say this. If they have not, please avoid the following. There's no reason to panic. Trying to force someone to fight it off by saying something like, don't panic, or you're fine, may only make their fear stronger, as they realize not panicking simply isn't possible. So you could actually make them more anxious and more panicky, and it can get pretty ugly. And avoid saying, everyone gets stressed sometimes. This is so normal. While you might want to make your friend feel less alone by telling them that this is something everybody deals with, this can actually be one of the worst things to do. Saying something like, everyone gets stressed sometimes, can make it seem like you don't understand the difference between stress and an actual clinical anxiety, being diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. And you might make them feel like they're being dismissed, or they're being silly. So, and avoid saying, just stop worrying and you'll feel so much better. It's not a switch. You just...
If we could, we would.
Why didn't I think of that?
If we could, we would.
You're obviously not going to say anything to attack your friend, but even an innocent comment you might think of as light or helpful, like, just try to relax, could come across as criticism, where we're thinking, ugh, why can't I just relax? Or why can't you just relax? And be sensitive that being extra considerate with your words. Just, like I said, if you don't know what to say and you're afraid to make it worse, just don't say anything. Just give a hug, a squeeze, or just say, I'm here for you. And that will help a whole lot, I believe. I think that helps me. Just let me have my moment.
Yep.
What I have learned also is that I've already had my worst panic attack. That's already behind me. But in the moment, sometimes when it happens, you're not thinking clearly. If you, I eventually will calm down and realize that, okay, this is not as dangerous as I think it is. I don't know about you. And I will calm down in a matter of minutes. Yeah. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but if you can just sit there with your friend and just let them have their moment, that's probably the best thing to do. Unless it's to the point where they're going to harm you or themselves, then you might have to.
Then you need to intervene no matter what.
Yeah. Call 911 if you have to.
Even if they're telling you no, just do it anyway.
Yeah. That's the only time to actually, get angry, I guess. So be their calm in their storm and remind them they are in a safe space or if they don't feel they are, perhaps take them somewhere where they feel safe. Tell them you are with them, and even though they might feel trapped or frightened or very alone, gently remind them that you are in this together. And it really helps to have somebody to confide in and to just know you can just pick up the phone and they can bring you back to earth
Yeah.
with that. Okay, so Ariel, you want to explain what happened to you?
Last year.
Was it last year?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So, kind of in April-ish, end of April, beginning of May, mid-May-ish, I already have a heart condition that causes me to, I can feel my heart just skip a beat, and it caused me to kind of black out and be dizzy. So that started acting up. So cardiologist appointments here and there, everything's fine. Wake up one morning, I could barely talk, I could barely walk. I FaceTime with my mom, and I would tell her every time I walk, my left arm automatically went up to my chest, and it would not go down. So she was like, oh, you might be having a mini stroke, TIA. And so I emailed my doctor and said, get to the emergency room right away. I've had a stutter for years, and I went through speech therapy and graduated, and everything was fine.
In speech since kindergarten. Mm-hmm.
Since this has happened, my stutter has come back. But every single word coming out of my mouth was a stutter. I couldn't, even in the emergency room, it was very hard for me to explain to them what was going on, but no one was allowed with me because of COVID.
Ariel is a CNA in a hospital.
Yes.
Which is a very stressful, high anxiety job. But this is Ariel. Since birth, she's just been a big thing of stress. So what she did not explain was that she had passed out.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just leading up to what.
Right, she had passed out.
I was trying to get into my bathtub, and I kind of like woke up, on the floor, and I'm yelling for my boyfriend at the time. Well, we lived together, but and he like had to put me in the tub so I can kind of like relax and I came to, but I wanted to take my bath still. I was not able to get out of the tub.
She wasn't sure she had fallen and hurt her head or bumped her head. But she was unconscious.
I wouldn't say unconscious.
Blacked out.
I just blacked out, and then I was on the floor.
Then all she remembers is that.
And then so I literally had to be carried out of the tub and have him dress myself.
Yeah. Well, from that experience, when that happened, she was stuttering. Like she said, every word was stuttering. She had weakness in her arm. And, I'm thinking she's having a stroke is what's happening because of her speech. And so I'm like, you need to get to the ER.
So I get to the ER, and it's during, of course, I would be hospitalized in a pandemic.
During COVID.
And so no one was allowed with me, but I needed someone there because I wasn't able to speak. But my unit that I went to the hospital I work at, my unit, one of the ladies came down, and they were trying to, translate for me, like, what was I trying to say? And my left arm was trembling like crazy. I wasn't able to walk. They did an MRI and everything, CT, no stroke, thankfully. They did find a tiny little spot on my brain, which is why they admitted me in the first place for overnight. Then I get released to the hospital. They want me to go back to work in a week. Okay? I get out of the hospital. I can't walk.
Yeah.
I can't talk.
Well, when you were in the hospital, they thought she had seizures. They had a seizure.
Had a seizure because of my left arm trembling.
And yes, because she had tremor. Her arm was shaking uncontrollably. The lesion on her head, on her brain, they were thinking it was MS. She had symptoms of having multiple sclerosis.
So then I went to, so they did the LP, everything came back negative for MS. So then they sent me to a neurologist in California, and he basically said that I have all of the symptoms for MS, but because I don't have any of the lesions on my brain, he's not going to diagnose me with MS. But he did diagnose me with dystonia and what was the other one? Oh, benign tremors.
Yes, benign tremors.
Benign tremors. And so we're like, woo, answers, yay, finally, woohoo. Put me on medicine. He says these symptoms won't go away, but you can treat the symptoms. Okay, well, it's 4 months later, I can't drive, so I'm relying on other people to take me to my appointments, and I'm the type of person that does not want anybody to help me at all.
Because she helps.
Because I'm a CNA, I take care of other people. I don't want anybody taking care of me. And so and then my symptoms wouldn't go away. And then I came here in June of last year. I had to walk with a walker because my left leg would not function at all.
And when she got really tired, she would stutter, and the tremor would be worse. And she would, like she said, she had to use a walker to get around.
And so I go to my primary. She's upset we're not getting answers. I'm upset we're still not getting answers. The neurologist is still saying it's this. My primary is like, I think you have MS, but I can't diagnose you because she's not a neurologist. So I get a second opinion up in Galindo. So we take it's only an hour and a half, and then he said it's 100% not MS.
No MS.
No MS.
Not
at all. But he did say I have a thing called conversion disorder. Basically, conversion disorder is because of all my anxiety and all my stress, it literally caused me physical symptoms.
Because she doesn't have
because I don't have a coping
mechanism. She doesn't have the correct coping mechanism because she is just high strung all the time, and then she's a CNA, which is also causing stress. So we'll go into the conversion disorder. So
basically it just caused me all my physical symptoms that kind of mimicked me having MS. I'm a lot better, 10 times better. My speech is better. I still have my tremor. You'll probably see it. My left side spasming a little bit, and I sometimes still can't walk very well at times. But I don't have to use my walker anymore.
Don't have to use walker. And she gets dizzy a lot, but we're thinking it's a medication thing because the medication she takes makes her dizzy.
They gave me a seizure medicine that my old neurologist did, thinking it was a seizure thing, because they did give me a seizure one in the hospital, which helped me sleep because of the tremors.
And Ariel has been taking Paxil for her anxiety disorder for forever. She's tried to get off of it, and her anxiety is probably 1,000 times worse at that. So we'll talk about conversion disorder, and so that's what happened to her. It's not MS. We're very thankful for that. So basically, conversion disorder is a mental.
But they did say that the little spot on my brain, though, is like a mole. Basically, like it shows when you had a migraine. So he's basically being treated for migraines.
Yeah.
Without really having migraines.
Yeah. She's never. I
think I've had one in my whole life.
It shows up on your brain if you have a migraine, which is crazy. Which is technically what my understanding of migraines, because I used to get them all the time, is that they're almost similar to a TIA, a mini stroke. So they'll leave lesions on your brain depending on the severity of that. So conversion disorder is a mental condition in which a person can have blindness, paralysis, and other nervous system neurological symptoms that cannot be explained by a medical evaluation. The best way that the neurologist explained to us about this, and it makes perfect sense, is that because Ariel doesn't have the right coping mechanism, and she's anxious all the time, and she has an anxiety disorder, and she has a stressful job, and she doesn't have the right outlet. All of her stress made all of these physical ailments happen to her. It's all caused because of anxiety and not taking care of herself, because she takes care of others.
And I haven't been able to go back to work yet.
She takes care of others and always had herself last. And so this is what has happened. And so what causes a conversion disorder? Well, one of the more commonly reported scenarios is that a conversion disorder may be triggered by the body's reaction to a physical trauma or a stressful event. Other doctors and researchers believe that a physical injury, infection, migraine, or panic attacks might trigger the development of a conversion disorder, which is what was explained to her by your neurologist.
Yes.
So I'm going to give you an example of what it is to help explain more. Conversion disorder is a condition in which you have physical symptoms of a health problem, but no injury or illness to explain them. For example, imagine taking a hard fall off your bike and then not being able to move your arm, but your arm isn't injured.
Yeah, pretty much.
Neither is any other part of your body. I'm hoping that makes sense, but it's, you're not able to move your arm, but it's not broken and there's nothing else going on. But that's how your body is responding to the stress or the trauma, is by doing that. Your body converted the emotional and psychological, words are hard, stress of your fall into the physical response of a paralyzed arm. It might seem strange, but your symptoms are real and you can't control them, which she was never told, this is all in your head, you're making this up.
No one said I was faking it either.
Yeah, this is an actual neurological disorder, I guess you could say. Conversion disorder happens as a way for your brain to deal with emotional stress. It's almost always triggered by upsetting situations or other mental disorders, which she already had, the anxiety. And women are more likely to have it than men, and it also happens more often to people who have a history of emotional stress or who have a hard time talking about their feelings. She's always had a hard time because when she was little, she was our wild child. We even had a hard time with her. We went to therapy, we said counselors, we tried our best to understand what was going on. And, I don't know how helpful we were, but her growing up time, but we did the best we could. We wanted to share this because I'm hoping it can help other people. And then it also can help Ariel because she gets to talk about it. But take care of yourself. Her neurologist says you need to find a healthy outlet. You need to find one thing. You need to pick one thing and do that one thing, to manage stress. So an example was, I think he said one of his colleagues rides their bike. He just goes on a bike ride after work because doctors and people in the medical field have a very high stress level. Yep. And they need to be able to cope with that, and they need to have proper coping mechanisms to be able to deal with that. Ariel is hoping to be a nurse. That's been her lifelong dream.
And I've been a CNA for 5 years.
And she was almost getting ready to go into nursing school when this happened. So just emotional stress caused all these physical ailments for her. They didn't say she had to look for a new job or a different field.
No, but I haven't been...
She hasn't been able to go back to work.
They're keeping me off work for the whole year, basically, just since May, because of the disability thing or whatever. But I have not been able to go back to work yet, and it sucks really bad.
So she even as a little child was just always on the go, and she was worried about other people's stuff and what was going to happen tomorrow and what are we doing next week and what's going on, just all the time. School was very stressful. We finally took her out of school and homeschooled her, which I think helped a whole lot.
Yeah, it did.
With that, so that was great. But she'd always just mother hen, just too much. But even though she was having these issues, I'm very proud of her because she did not really let it get her down. I mean,
there were times
she was sad and she was crying and she felt helpless, but she would go out. They went to the lake
for
a week with some family and friends. She just recently went to Vegas. I mean, she went to parties. Her boyfriend has older kids. She would take them to wherever they needed to go when she was able to drive. Because there for a while she was.
I wasn't able to drive for 6 months.
Yeah, for 6 months. So she still did what she needed to do, but she needs to take care of Ariel. So now she has to find something. She's working on that.
I've never really did self-care because I felt like I'm not taking care of me. I don't need to.
But self-care can be different for everybody. So she can probably just go take a bath, take a shower, read a book. The doctor said, another one of his colleagues, when he comes home, he plays with his son. That's the first thing he does to get all that work-related stress out and not focus so much on work stuff.
And I do have an emotional support dog. She does help a lot.
Yeah. But she, we need, self-care is very important. We need to find a coping mechanism that works, and, we need to take care of ourselves, or we can't take care of others, and that's what she's experiencing. She wants to take care of people, other people.
Yeah.
She's really good at that, but she has to take care of herself first in order to be able to take care of others. And, but she came to Texas even though she had to have a walker.
That was difficult.
So I mean, she still tried to do normal stuff, and so which I think probably was helpful because
That was the most I've walked since I got out of the hospital.
Yeah, and I think if you didn't do that stuff, you probably would have been in a very deep depression.
I was, because I had to be in bed rest for a while, but then
Yeah.
I was like, I can't do anything. There's no point.
So anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment below, and we will do our best to answer. And it was kind of fun doing a little vlog with my daughter. It was very windy today, and we were out, so hence the hair. That's okay. That's real life. Nothing fake and phony going on over here. So again, if you have any questions, I'm not an expert. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a very parents. We need to be advocates for our children, and that's what I've been. I think as much as possible. Even when she was growing up, I tried to find out what I needed to do, what she needed to do.
Yeah, she never shrugged it off. She never like, oh, it's just
Yeah,
you're just going through something.
Yeah, we tried our best to get her the help that she needed and find out what was going on. So parents, please be an advocate for your children. Be an advocate for yourself. Question the doctors. Question the doctors, because they don't know everything, because they are practicing medicine.
That's why we went
and always get a second opinion, and sometimes a third if you need to. So yes, but I just want to stress, haha, no pun intended. I know that wasn't funny. Take care of yourself. You deserve it. You can't help others. You can't be the best you unless you do that. So let's figure out what we need to do for self-care. And like I said, if you have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comments below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.